Okay, the same day I got this video, finally some good news, uploading onto YouTube, and then after that, I don't know, I'll either do BitChute today, tonight, or tomorrow, probably tomorrow. It's late. What time is it? 1:45 Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, you're not ready for this, Judy. You never even had a chance to get into the paperwork, quote unquote, and fucking organize it, you know. Anyway, so I'm starting in this corner first. First of all, trying to familiarize myself, assuming that I can find a pair of glasses that actually work. Whatever. And I have to look for miscellaneous pieces of information when it comes to the Mari's medical files. I'm pretty sure there's some in there. I don't see them though, so I don't know. And I know I have a few of Shamay's somewhere else that for whatever reason, when I came across them, they weren't in her binder. So, court definitions. Well, I guess I don't have to worry about that right now. Just saying. Right. That's for another day. I gotta familiarize myself with these 200 binders. Freedom of information. This is each and every time that I was dealing with them, but I know there's still a few miscellaneous of them that need to be added in here. Because when you put an application in for, you know, things, right? Like when you ask for records, you don't always get everything because they just remove certain things altogether. And so you write and you ask for them to be given to you, and then they write and tell you no under this section of the Freedom of Information Act. And then after a while it starts to add up, and I know there's some more papers kicking around here somewhere. So as I go through papers looking for papers, I'll add them into binders, I figure. Right? I don't want to feel like I'm under pressure though. That's the thing. Because of, see, this one's not even labeled. Oh wait, no it is. Mari's medical file. Hospital. Now whether they're all in here or not, I don't know. You see, this is how I like to do it. So I don't know. I may, see, I added some in here. Here, see, I added, right? I just haven't put them in here yet. So that could be what I'm looking for that were over here. But I know Shamay's got some kicking around here somewhere. So when I photocopy, I will photocopy, because, I mean, otherwise I would have had to send it to her like that. Because she offered, because, you know, it costs money, right? She offered to have a courier pick up these Shamay's, whatever, and then photocopy there, and then courier them back to me. And I said, no, that's okay. I'll photocopy, and then when I'm ready, have the courier come and pick them up. And, right? Right? And then this way, mine don't get mixed up by accident, as well as after I photocopy, hers will be without the plastic, but I can still take the time to put the sticky notes in there for her to make it easier, right? Or, no, I'm not going to number. I'm not going to number no pages, nothing. I would just simply do a sticky note with the timeline. Right? So we found Mari's, so that's good. And it looks like those few miscellaneous papers that I had in there, I put in here. I just didn't put them because I date everything, right? Right? That's how I do it, right? And what's this white one? Oh my God, you don't even know, people. But I can't get stressed out about it. I don't want to get sick because I'm already feeling not well, right? Because, you know, and I've been working hard. You know that. You've been watching my videos, right? So this is the Evidence Act. What else is in here? The Health Authority Act. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, this act, that act. So, the Evidence Act, Fraser Health, Health Authority Act. What else is in here? Canada Health Act, Freedom of Information and Protection, Privacy Act. More of that, more of that. A whole lot of that. It's like that thick for Freedom of Information, Privacy Act. Yeah, tons of it. It's a good inch thick. So those are just acts. So I need to label that. But I don't need to worry about that right now. That's, I don't have to, right? So I doubt Amari's stuff is in there, but I have to do a thorough job. I have to do the best that I can do. Right? And I have Andre's medical files from when he was born. We talked about this before, where I was going to use his medical files as a comparison to C-sections as to how my daughters were, quote unquote, treated differently. I think that's important because what they do, people, is it only takes one individual in the house to become the addict in order to bring the scandal to everybody in the house. So like when they took Andre illegally from a daycare, after they illegally kicked out Sierra in the middle of winter on the assumption that she was doing drugs. But the reason to kick her out, though, was that she wasn't coming home. If you were to ask the social worker that today and say, and remind her, that's why, oh no, that's not what I did. Well, yeah, no, that's what you did. Right? Because they know that the act itself was illegal. So, of course, they're not ever going to admit to it. But that's what happened. Okay. And then they came in with their, well, we think she was doing drugs. Regardless, they had no right to kick her out of the house and threaten us with police. And that's what they did. And then, because she was the addict, they just assumed that everybody else in the house was dysfunctional. And then they proceeded to treat everybody as if we were all addicts and loop-de-loop. Okay? Like, they so mistreated my kids, you don't even know. Well, you do know if you get into my older videos. Okay, I don't want to think about that. But, so, okay. They took Sierra's situation. What are you doing? Oh, I gotta go see, man. You got quiet. What are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah, right. What are you doing? Did you poo? What is that? Oh my God, Amari! No! Oh, you naughty little boy! Oh my God! Oh, you're naughty! The naughty child! No, it's not funny! God! You stress your nana out, man! No! Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy! Oh, my Lord! Oh! That's cool. That's no Mari. You give your nana a heart attack like 15 times a day, man. Like, you don't even know people. I'll be right back. Hold on. Oh, Lord. I'm telling you. He goes with his left hand. Whoosh, and he fast. He grabbing. And he's strong, people. And he pulls. And his reaches. He's getting fast at sitting up and flipping himself over and bouncing. He wants to get off. But I put up that new rail in there. Doesn't mean nothing. Because he just flips himself over and boom, boom, boom. And before you know it, he's right at the freaking edge. Or he's just reaching out and grabbing things. I changed him, right? And I forgot to take the diaper off the sewing table where his little spot is. Little bugger grabbed it. So because I'm always listening. And when I hear a sound that I'm not familiar with, I get in like this because we don't know if he's having a seizure. Oh my God. I get to him and he's like, and I pick him up. You heard me. And I'm like, you know, he's just whatever, he's like involved, you know, and I'm like, oh my God, you know, he has a seizure, right? And get him, and I got him sitting there, and I'm like, what the hell is this? It was a fucking diaper that he had pooped in, for crying out loud. Like, I swear, I have a heart attack like 3 or 4 times a day, at least now. Because he's so active, right? Like, he's a very active little boy, and he's strong. And when Tisha took him to the hip doctor, they were saying, Tisha told me that his right hip is coming out more. Not the left one, because the right leg curls in more, right? Because that side is something wrong with it. You know, it's just, I don't know. All his strength is left. His leg, he can push me over with his left leg, literally, if he wants to. And he's like, because he likes to exercise, right? Oh my God, people, you don't even know. And he thinks it's funny because, you know, he's a happy little boy, right? Anyway, I got this letter from this hip surveillance program, because it's a program, remember? And it was saying in there, I read it tonight, it was saying that it's his, what did it say? Amari had an x-ray of his hips on March 16th. Measurement of the hip displacement were right hip 28%. His right leg and his right arm are so weak. It is a lot of his right leg that's always curling in. His right foot is always curling in. When Tisha came back from the appointment, she said that his right hip is coming out more than his good side. That's what she told me, right? But in here, it's saying the right hip is at 28% in terms of dislocated, and the left hip is at 55%. A referral to the pediatric orthopedic surgeon, right? The hip doctor that is with that research study, right? Okay, bone doctor is only recommended when the number is more than 30%. Amari is already followed by an orthopedic surgeon. So which one is it? Is it the right leg that's coming out more because it's going like this all the time? And it's weak? And it's curling? And the tone is tight? And same with his right arm? Or is it the left? Because Tisha came home and told me it was the right, but here they're saying it's the left. Like, whatever. Anyway, he's okay. I caught him just in time because I could hear that something changed. Yeah, something sure changed. He found a diaper, and it was different, and it was unusual. Obviously, it didn't bother him. So, fuck. Anyway, I don't even know what I was saying prior to that. I just know that when I hear things different, I have to go check. I have to. If I would have ignored it, people, he would have sat there and played with a filthy diaper, like a poopy diaper, until when? I showed up? Oh, that would have been, you know, like kids when they're in a room and they take off their diapers and they smear it all over the walls and on the carpet and all over themselves. And, you know, I've never really had a kid do that, but I've heard of kids do that, right? Well, no, I've never had a kid do that. Like, none of my kids did anything like that, right? But I've heard of kids, some kids do stuff like that, right? Anyway. But yeah, no, he's so strong and so fast. Oh man, you don't even know. Okay, what was I talking about? Files and paperwork, and I can't get sick over this. I didn't expect it to happen so fast. I think this lady wants me to give everything to her within the week, and I will get as much done as I can. It will have to probably, I don't know. Oh yes, I was talking about Andre and Sierra. Andre's medical files, because he was born through C-section that was booked in 1 week early because Sierra admitted to doing drugs a week prior. So because she admitted to doing drugs a week prior, they decided to book in a C-section. So they booked the C-section in. It wasn't an emergency C-section. She was in agreement with that. But when he came out, because of the methadone, Andre, right? Because Sierra was on methadone, right? For, I don't know, 5.5 months, something like that. 5 months, 5.5 months. I guess the methadone, I don't know, it does something to fetuses where, I don't know about all fetuses, but with Andre, he had a problem with regulating his heat. So they kept him in the hospital for 2 extra weeks to monitor that. And I think they weaned him off of the methadone. Yeah. And Sierra was with him for the first little while. I don't think she was in the hospital for the full 2 weeks. I can't remember. I'm sure it was stated in her medical files, right? The point is when Shamay got pregnant, they knew that there was an attic in the house. But if you notice, and this is why I want to send this to this lawyer, Andre's medical files. If they suspected Shamay, because when, when you go in, they ask you all these questions, right? And Shamay answered, they do any drugs while pregnant. She answered yes. In the first trimester, first 3 months, I did cocaine. Does that mean she was doing cocaine every day? Or does it mean that she was doing it once a month? I don't know, people. I highly doubt that she was doing it every day because she wasn't an addict. Whereas Sierra was an addict, and whatever drugs that she was doing, whether it was heroin or methamphetamine, was every day until finally she got onto the methadone, and then the methadone became every day. Okay? So, but because there was already an addict in the house, right? They took that information and they used it against Shamay, and they did. They set her up to make it look like that she was, and I told this to this lawyer tonight, when I was talking to her, you know, when they put it down that she had no prenatal care, but they were going to test the baby for drugs because of the jitteriness, right? Even though they knew that they gave her an emergency C-section with their fentanyl, and the fentanyl would come up in that P test, right? They tried to make it look like she was a street junkie or a street addict. Well, just by listing down that she had no prenatal care. What woman would be running around out on the streets with no prenatal care, coming to the hospital admitting that they had done drugs? That's all they have to say. I admit that I had done drugs. They will ignore the fact that it was within the first trimester. Most women don't even half, even a third. A third of women don't even know that they're pregnant within the first trimester. Women can be pregnant and still have a period. So how would you know if you have a period? Right? I'm just saying. Especially if you're using these birth controls and day after pills and stuff like that. Oh yeah, because they instigate bleeding, right? And you will be pregnant and bleed. I bled a lot with Sierra, and I bled a lot with Tisha. Oh yeah. So, anyway, I just think that, you know, they took Sierra's situation and they tried to recreate the wheel somehow, some way with Shamay, knowing that there was a high probability that Amari would get injured just with the fact that they left it for 5 days, dragged it out, and even then they dragged it out to the bitter end, and then they booked their emergency C-section, and then they came back in and tried to blame the mother for Amari's jitteriness, even though it was their drug that was in his system. And they did that because they knew that there was an addict in the house before Shamay showed up. And that's why I would supply Andre's medical records so that she can compare how Sierra was treated versus how Shamay was treated. If you're going to book an addict in, a full-blown fucking addict, okay, like hardcore, and then one that goes on methadone, and then one that falls off the wagon a week before, right? The social workers show up to close the file, and she says, well, no, I did drugs, you know, that's, my kids were honest, right? No, I did drugs last week because my mom pissed, she blamed me for it. Whatever the reason was, probably fighting over stupid Austin. I guess that was the excuse, right? She had to blame somebody. So she went off and did a little bit of drugs, but she was back on her methadone by the time that came out. But they decided that, you know, might as well take the baby out. You got 1 week before your due date. So just in case you fall off the freaking bandwagon, we'll just do the right thing. She said, sure, go ahead, do it. And she went in and everything was fine. And the only reason Andre had any issues was because of the methadone. It wasn't because of the drugs, people. Listen, she was doing mostly heroin. I'm sure she came into contact with methamphetamine within the first 3 months of her pregnancy or whatever. And it was daily, all day, because she was a full-blown addict. It took a while for me to get her on the methadone, people. And even then, in those days, the pharmacy was bringing it to her here to the house. That really helped a lot. And then once she got on the methadone, and with, you know, that regular dose that daily dose, it worked. It worked. And all it took was the social worker to kick her out, disconnect her from her house, her bed, her support system, her child, everything. Food, money, all of it. Methadone, and within 11 days, someone shot her up, and she became a junkie. And she stayed a junkie until she was lured to her death. And the Surrey Memorial Hospital fucking knew it. Because the people that do this kind of stuff, they're crooked. Like, just crooked. They're fucking crooked. You don't even know. They play on people's weaknesses, right? And Sierra was a weak link in the house. And they tried to recreate the wheel with Shamay and tried to suggest that Shamay was like Sierra because she had no prenatal care. So therefore, because she admitted to doing drugs with no prenatal care, that means she must have been a junkie. So by all means, test the baby to see if he's got drugs in his system because he's like this. Yeah, he's like this because you guys dragged out freaking birthing process for over a period of 5 fucking days. And you had to leave it to the last minute. Yeah. You get my point. I just think it's a good idea, being that I have 2 dead daughters, 2 grandchildren in my care, and both of them, right, were birthed at the Surrey Memorial Hospital under, I wouldn't say similar circumstances, except for maybe a C-section. That is like when they lured Sierra to her death. And they kicked us out of John Hart's house and made us stand out on the porch in the rain with that baby-faced cop standing there guarding the door. And once they realized that we weren't going to leave because we wanted to identify Sierra's supposedly dead body, they came back and said, oh, it's an investigation. Something suspicious is going on. You know, it's going to take 3-4 hours, so you might as well go home and wait. And we'll call you when we're done with our investigation against Mr. John Hart. Because we think that maybe he did something to Sierra. So there is no point in standing out on the porch in the rain for 3-4 hours while we do our investigation. But we promise we'll call you and then you can come in and you can identify Sierra's body before we haul it out of here. No, people. They didn't call us. They left. I went back an hour and 15 minutes later and they were all gone. The house was dark. Okay, it was one cop sitting in the back watching the house, one cop sitting in the front watching the house, and there was nobody around. Okay? They didn't investigate John Hart. That was just the excuse to get rid of us. And then what? Because they pulled that card, all of a sudden they're going to do a forensic autopsy for Sierra, a street junkie that they basically abused for 8 fucking years, but they wouldn't do one for Shamay? Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. That's all I fought for Shamay. And they didn't do it. They refused to do it. They played mindfuckery left, right, and center. Oh my God, people. I don't even know. I can't get upset. I was listening to Alex Jones, and I really wanted to play it. I should. And they were doing this little commentary about, this satanic crap that's going on in our society right now, and how these Satanists like to use the month of April as their beginning of their sacrifices and all this other shit that goes on within their morbid, mindset. I guess April 19th is the beginning of that 3-month reign of terror. And I'm like, April 19th, oh my God, that's the day that they so-called turned off their machine. No, they turned off their embalming machine. That's what they did, okay? To change the color of her skin. That's all they did. But And I'm like, why are you calling? And then I thought about it after. I phoned this one, like tonight. I'm like, what's the date today? Oh my God, it's the 18th. Like, what am I poking the bear here? You know, shit. That's all I need is to be poking a fucking bear. But you know what? I don't give a shit. I'll poke the bear until I ain't got no more pokes left in me. See, I have to go through this crap because I don't even know. I don't want to miss a page. I got papers everywhere. See, I like to put mine in plastic. So I better keep this out because as I find them, I might need this. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just reorganizing and getting situated here. And I'm just going to go from spot to spot to spot and just gather up what I can. For now, I just don't want to get sick over this because I didn't expect this to happen as fast as it did. You know, I'm glad, but even still, I'm not prepared for it. Right? I mean, you just seen what happened with Amari. It happens that fast. Right? That's all I do is sit and listen. Or stand and listen or whatever. Or I'm running back and forth constantly. This I got out of War Room. Here, I need these. These are empty, so this is good. War Room 1. When I set up my tomato plants and whatnot. But I don't even know what's in here. I'm just looking for things that are pertinent right now, but I can't see. See, this is what is this for? I see my name. Rule 25.3. Ministry of Children and Family Development. That's when they took Andre. You can see it, black and white. I tried to file a lawsuit against the government back in those days, people. Because I was denied a lawyer for Andre. Because I was nothing but a lowly grandma. And grandmas didn't qualify for legal aid. Yeah. So I went off and I borrowed $3,500 on my life insurance policy. That's when Uncle John and we set up that trust account. And then I went off and I bought the paper, ink, felt pens, wipeout boards, put like car maintenance to keep it running. And once the court realized I was serious about, fighting for my grandson, that's when a judge told me that I already had custody. I don't know how that happened, and that I needed to go get a lawyer. I told him I couldn't because I already tried and I was denied legal aid. He said, it doesn't matter, go back and try again. And then when I went back and tried again, it went to the province in Victoria, the Parliament building, where Sonia 2 works, and to a supervisor within their legal aid department, and it was approved. So this never went to the Supreme Court. But it's there. I mean, this is just stress. Like, it's bullshit. Total fucking bullshit. Yeah. I should put this in with Andre's files. Notice of civil claim. But I probably didn't write anything. Look at this. When was this? New Westminster, Judy Chorney. Okay. I don't see a date on it though. May 14th of 2013. They took him on January 15th. And by May 13th, I was at the Supreme Court trying to file a lawsuit to get my grandson back. And I think this was, what was this? I really should submit this, honest to God. I'm glad I found it. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm going to submit this with Andre's medical files so this lawyer can see how long I've been putting up with this bullshit for, because this is the bullshit I've been putting up with for freaking years, people. What is this? Affidavit in support of order to waiver fees. So I wanted to waiver my fees for a lawsuit. What are you doing now? I hear something. You're supposed to be sleeping. Go to sleep. You're just bouncing around all over the place. My income and everything. I'm going to keep this out. I'm putting this in with Andre's medical files. Yep. Just so that she gets an idea of what I've been through. Seriously. Seriously. So I got to figure out how to separate everybody into a silo. Right? You can't tell me that my grandson, Andre, wasn't targeted. Consent to disclose of information. See? I can barely see. List of documents, December 13th of 2013. Andre Chorney. Yeah. Okay, so this is Andre's stuff. I don't know. I don't know where to put it. Oh, Lord. Okay. Just to give her an idea, because, you know, when things go to court, right, judges like to know who's standing in front of them and some basic history, right? Well, that's my history. Okay? I got proof right there. It's signed by somebody else from the freaking courthouse, for crying out loud. Okay? If they would never have kicked my daughter out on an assumption that she was doing drugs, but that wasn't the reason they kicked her out. They kicked her out because she wasn't coming home and the social worker wanted to teach her a lesson. I gotta go check on him again. Like, he's so getting rambunctious, you don't even know. What are you doing? Now you got quiet. Stop it. No, you keep turning yourself around. Stop it. You're driving me nuts, man. Stop it. Okay? Smarten up. Smarten up. And his new thing lately, putting a pillow over his head. I come and I take the pillow and he's smiling at me. Fucking scaring the pants off me, man. You don't even know. Even if the pillow's over there, he flips himself around, grabs the pillow and puts it on himself. Like, what the hell? You're driving me nuts. Okay, so here we go. What's this? This, now you see, this has to do with John. Oh my God. Case building worksheet. I can see my handwriting in there. Oh my Lord, people. Oh. Reply on behalf of Ministry Kadut. Minister Kadukes. That was the minister of MCFD when they took Andre. This is a Gmail from me to her, and this was her response. Thank you for your email dated February 11th of 2013 to the Honorable Minister Stephanie Cadu for Children and Family Development. Reference her to your YouTube video entitled to Minister of Tears, I Want My Grandson Back. That video is still up on YouTube. As the Community Service Manager for North Surrey, I am responding on the Honorable Minister Cadu's behalf. I realize this is difficult time for you and your family, and you deeply care for your grandson. I would encourage you to continue working with the ministry and the court proceedings through the Family Relation Act. If you are not satisfied with any decision made by MCFD, you can proceed with the ministry dispute resolution, to which we know it's pointless, process. Oh my God. So anything to do with Andre goes with Andre. So I got to set up a system where I don't know. Just keep working on it. Right? That's all I can do, people. I have to check everything because things get mixed up. Here's some more of those things, so that's good. Alright. I'm not going to give her everything. I'm just going to give her a bit of a timeline. That's all. Right. Amari's situation is not simply cut and dry. They were hoping that the dysfunction that Sierra had was through the whole family. Right? That's why paramedics come to my door and accuse me or my kids of things, even though they're dead, just so that they can keep living their lie. Yeah. So, see, I have to go through all this because there might be one piece of paper stuck in there. I don't know. What is this? Okay. Some kind of dry flowered. Now he's quiet. And I get nervous. More dry flowers. I don't know what all this stuff. Here's a receipt book. Don't know why that's there. Hey, look how old that is. Can you see? Look how old that is. Here's another one. I got some old shit. You don't see these kind like this anymore. What's on the back of this? Guide to Basic Notes on Composition. They're nice. Nice and thick. Nice colors. Look at the colors. They're nice. This just looks like miscellaneous file folders and writing your will. That's what I need. Guess I should keep that out. See? I don't know. I just don't want to miss anything. Sometimes I just... Being executor, that's what that lawyer asked me. If I was an executor to Shamay. I said, no. I never got that far with it. To bring a notice of motion. Notice of motion. What are you up to? I bet you he flipped himself over again. That's what he did. Notice of claim. Yeah, this is all to do with Andre, because these are old. Those are old. Maybe I should just leave them out, put them in with something else later on as I come into contact with it. I don't know. And I'm trying not to beat myself up for spending tens of thousands, and we're talking tens of thousands of dollars on a non-profit that became one big flop. If I would have known how corrupt our governments are, I wouldn't have done it, people. I didn't realize how corrupt society is. What is this? No, I don't even know. I didn't realize it. I had no clue. I was so gullible. You know what? This is where he can fall off the freaking couch and snap his neck. Hold on a minute. You see, the thing about kids like Amari is, I don't know, they don't take you serious. You know how many times I say, stop it, stop. He's just laughing, and I don't know, he doesn't really understand the word stop, and if he does, it's only for a second, you know? And, you know, he's at that terrible 2 age. That's how I contribute his behavior. Like, just a naughty little toddler that wants to run and play and basically not listen, right? And explore his environment. Now, I was in my room today before I phoned this lady. Well, I didn't phone this lady. She phoned me. Before I went online and had that little chat, and then she called me. But I pulled this out earlier because I was going to give myself a year to do this, people. And I was going to just start with bills and start picking through this in between everything else I do in a day. So I don't know. Anyway, I found this in my room. It's quite nice, really. Right? And of course, I'm like, well, what's in it? As if I can see. It's just a bunch of paper. Honestly, I don't know what's in it. I can't see. It could be schoolwork, or it could be non-profit. It's probably I don't know. We're going to just take a boo at it right now. Because I was going to clear this out and then use this for what I just showed you. There's Shamay's, there's Uncle John's, there's Amari's, there's Sierra's, and so on, right? Because it's hard to wrap your head around the silos, as Justice Ross would say, you know? Like, Amari was targeted. Like Andre was targeted. Like Shamay was targeted. Like Sierra was targeted. Like John was targeted. Like I was targeted. And the rest of the family was targeted as a whole. Now, whether that is acknowledged with what might happen in the future, remains to be seen. I don't know how they could possibly ignore it. You see, that's the thing. More reason to add in Andre's medical files with that document that I just showed you, which is a legitimate document that is dated with a signature from the courthouse in New Westminster, with me requesting to waiver my fees so I can sue MCFD because they illegally took my grandson and I wanted him back. And being that they weren't going to provide me with a lawyer, a legal aid lawyer, I was going to go take him to court myself. Because we were targeted. So I don't even know what's in here. Because I got to figure out where to put this paper as I'm coming across it, because I'm not going to be able to put it into... I don't even have Andre's stuff in a binder yet. It's still just the way it was sent to me. So that one's easy to photocopy. All I have to do is take it to Staples and run it through the machine, and she gets a straight up, flat up copy. Whether she ever uses it as evidence or as a comparison to discuss proceedings or whatever, to which I think she should, because 2 daughters are dead. 2 daughters were targeted, right along with their children. It shows a pattern. Let's see what this stuff is. Because if it's insignificant, it's going into paper recycling. But the thing is, I don't have any good glasses. And so my eyes, I've been getting a headache because of, eyes, right? Balance sheet info. Oh God, this is non-profit crap. Well, it's applicable for that church. So in a situation like this is all non-profit crap. Yeah, balance sheet info, assets. This gives you all the codes. This is to do with all the codes when you do your taxes for your non-profit. So in this situation, this goes with non-profit. So there you go. This whole binder box thing of probably all to do with non-profit. Probably. That's what I mean. It's too much paperwork. It's pathetic already. I'm tired of it. To the registers of companies in October 29th of 2001. What does it say? Registers of companies. This letter is a request to issue an order under subsection 73A, the right to permit mail-in ballot for the purpose of giving all members... I've tried so hard, people, so hard to do everything by the book. I'm so serious. You don't even know. I tried so hard. Copy of resolution. This is all non-profit stuff. So, I don't have time to go through this because this is not what we're doing. So I will just double check everything here. And then I am just going to put it in a different container. And then I'm going to use that file folder. Shamay, Andre, Amari, John, whatever, me, whatever. As I go through these papers. And I just organize them. That's all I can do. So hold on a minute. And you know what a new thing Amari's been doing? Like I said, he's in his terrible twos. I don't know how he's been doing it, but he's been taking his bottle and he's got whatever's inside spraying Like literally, shh, right? I think he's like playing with the nipple somehow, some way, where he gets it actually spraying out. Get it all over him. I gave him some grapefruit juice this morning, and I guess he didn't really like it, right? But I mean, it was sweet. It wasn't bitter or anything, right? It was, but it's not a juice he's ever had before. I swear, he got it all over himself. He hardly drank any of it. It was like all over the place. And the other night, I was laying there watching TV or doing something, just laying there resting, and next thing you know, and I'm getting sprayed with this stream of water, because I give him water, right? Oh boy, I tell you. Okay, so we have a plan, Stan. Alright, I got a folder that's basically all non-profit stuff. I do have briefcases that I can put that in. Keep non-profit with non-profit. I'm not going to worry about sorting it out right now. Just go through it quickly. If it's the whole binder, if that whole thing is, which it probably is all to do with non-profit, it's just going into the briefcase with the rest of the non-profit stuff. And I'll worry about that later. And then I have this beautiful file folder right here. It's nice. As I go from box to box, pile to pile, binder to binder, and I find miscellaneous papers that need to be put in their proper binders, and then it will be that much easier to get it organized. And then, yeah, and then just start photocopying. And if I can sticky tape where I have sticky tape, right, and just double sticky tape for this lawyer so that it's easy for her to find what she needs to find, then it's just, I don't know if I'm going to get it all done in a week. I don't think so. It's too much paperwork. I'm dealing with too many people here. Way too many people. Too many people and too many issues. Because it's not over for Shamay, people. No. I mean, as I'm doing this, I think this is the appeal stuff that I have to still do, to which I've been meaning to start reading and trying to figure out how to do it. I don't know. It doesn't look like it. This is what I tried to file, but I couldn't file it this way. I have to put it in either a green or a yellow, it has to have a green cover or a yellow cover with those curly little black things around it. And then, of course, they did their notice. I didn't even open this. Look at this. Did I open it? Oh, wait. Yeah, I did. This is what they sent me through email, where they put a notice of appearance to dispute. Sonia 2, the province of British Columbia, Canada. Right? The Attorney General's office and the Attorney General's office. Public Safety and Solicitor Attorney General put in their notice of appearance to throw out this, even though a whole lot of what Judge Ross had to say was completely wrong and misleading. But for me, it goes back to that default. There is no statute of limitation on murder. I kept stressing to that lawyer, my daughter was murdered. Okay, so why don't we keep this video nice and short and sweet, being that I'm going to be busy, like a wild thing. like a wild thing. Oh boy, do you see my table? Can you see that? Look at this. Look at that.